Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will dive deep into the incredible aftermath of Deacon and Sheila's breakup and the terrifying new stalking mystery surrounding Taylor. I feel so incredibly alive and exhilarated watching this show right now. The specific moment in the upcoming Monday, April 13 episode where Deacon Sharp stands in Il Giardino and shares the news about Sheila Carter leaving the apartment sparked such a profound sense of relief and anticipation in me. I genuinely think we are witnessing some of the most compelling, edge-of-your-seat character work the show has ever produced. When Deacon tries to do damage control, his voice likely wavering as he explains that Sheila has accepted his decision, I feel a deep, complex sympathy for him. I think the writers are doing a phenomenal job of showing a man who is completely torn between the terrifying reality of his ex-wife and the undeniable truth of his heart. The way I interpret it, Deacon isn't just giving a status update to the family. He is begging himself to believe that the nightmare might actually be pausing. I love the idea of him standing there, unable to hide his heart anymore, because to me, it finally proved that his love for Taylor Hayes is the most grounding force in his life right now. I genuinely believe we are missing the point if we don't look closely at Sheila's dialogue during this transition. The spoilers reveal that Sheila actually told Deacon she accepted the decision and promised that she wouldn't hurt anyone. When I heard that she made this vow, I felt a massive wave of dread wash over me, because I think we all know Sheila Carter better than that. I feel like this is the best they've written Sheila in years, because she is playing a psychological game rather than just resorting to immediate physical violence. The way I see it, Sheila standing in that apartment, looking Deacon in the eye, and promising peace is the most terrifying thing she could possibly do. I think the writer's choice to have her make this promise directly to Deacon's face, while privately vowing that their marriage isn't over, is brilliant. It makes me feel like we are watching a predator calmly study its prey before the actual strike. I am absolutely obsessed with the revelation that Sheila sees Taylor as nothing but a monster. I think this specific character detail is a masterclass in psychological projection. When Sheila says she can see that Deacon really loves Taylor but simultaneously views Taylor as the true villain of the story, I feel completely fascinated by her twisted internal logic. In my opinion, Sheila cannot process her own rejection, so she has to turn Taylor into a demonic figure in her mind to justify whatever she is planning next. I love the way this flips the traditional hero and villain dynamic inside Sheila's own head. To Sheila, she is the wronged wife, and Taylor is the homewrecker. I feel like anchoring Sheila's upcoming revenge to this specific delusion makes her actions infinitely more compelling than if she were just acting out of random malice. I know a lot of people are saying this storyline is dragging, but I actually think the slow burn is exactly what's needed because I feel like the psychological tension is the whole point. We need to see Sheila lie low. If the lady lies low, it won't be for long, as the Friday, April 10 spoilers suggest, but I think this quiet period is essential. I feel so much anxiety just knowing she is out there, privately vowing that her marriage isn't over. I think the decision to have Sheila walk away from Il Giardino without a massive, bloody confrontation right then and there makes me feel so much more invested in what comes next. It proves that she is calculating, that she is biding her time, and that she is entirely focused on a long-term strategy to reclaim her husband. When it comes to Deacon and Taylor finally stepping out as a couple in the open, I feel a tremendous sense of romantic triumph, mixed with paralyzing fear. I think it is so beautiful that Deacon cannot hide his heart anymore, and that they are going to spend some time together publicly. In my opinion, this is the ultimate payoff for the intense, secretive build-up they've had. However, the moment the spoilers reveal that they are both unaware that they are being watched, my heart jumped into my throat. I feel like the visual contrast of them finally being happy and open, while a hidden stalker observes them, is pure cinematic genius. I think the choice to let them have this brief moment of sunshine while a dark cloud literally watches them from the shadows makes me feel incredibly protective of their relationship. I genuinely think the stalking element is the most exciting twist we could have asked for right now. Of course, everyone will probably assume it's Sheila watching Taylor, but I feel like the writers are setting us up for a massive misdirection. The way I interpret the text, asking if Sheila could just be a red herring in a new storyline, makes my mind race with possibilities. I think it would be absolutely brilliant if the stalker wasn't Sheila at all. I feel like having someone else target Taylor, perhaps someone from her past, or a completely unexpected enemy while everyone is busy looking out for Sheila, would be a stroke of narrative genius. It makes me feel like the show is expanding its thriller elements in a way that keeps us completely off balance. I feel a deep sense of frustration, but also brilliant dramatic irony when I think about Steffy Forrester Finnegan and Ridge Forrester potentially celebrating that Sheila is finally gone. When I read that they might celebrate, I literally yelled at my screen. I think the writers are perfectly capturing the Forrester family's desperate need for peace, but I feel like their premature celebration is going to cost them dearly. The way I see it, Ridge and Steffy wanting to believe that the nightmare is over is a deeply human flaw. I think their willingness to accept Deacon's news at face value, even for a moment, highlights just how exhausted they are by Sheila's reign of terror. But as a viewer, I feel that impending doom because I know, and the rest of the characters wonder, if Sheila really gave up. I think acknowledging that giving up is so unlike her character is the smartest thing the show can do right now. I completely understand and passionately defend Steffi's reaction in the aftermath of this news. Over with Steffy, she will likely continue to be on guard in case Sheila strikes, and I feel like this is exactly how Steffy should be reacting. I know some fans think Steffi is being too controlling, but I actually think her paranoia is 100% justified because I feel like she is the only one remembering the reality of who they are dealing with. When Steffi panics and wants to protect her family, I feel a profound connection to her trauma. I think the choice to have Steffi potentially ban Deacon from being at the Cliff House is a brilliant protective boundary. In my opinion, Steffi has every right to look at Deacon as the man who brought the monster back to their doorstep, and I love the fierce maternal energy she is projecting right now. I feel incredibly tense about the decision Steffi might make to order extra security at home as well as at Forrester Creations. I think this detail grounds the storyline in reality. The way I interpret it, Steffi isn't just throwing a tantrum. She is taking actionable, logistical steps to fortify her life against a known threat. I love the imagery of guards being posted at the Cliff House and the Forrester building because it makes me feel the claustrophobia that Sheila's mere existence forces upon this family. I think it highlights the immense privilege and resources the Forresters have, but also the terrifying reality that all the money in the world cannot stop Sheila Carter if she truly wants to get to you. This brings me to my absolute favorite source of conflict right now, the dynamic between Steffi and John Finn Finnegan. When Finn says that Sheila not lashing out is a good sign, I feel a mixture of pity and intense frustration for his character. I think Finn's perspective is fascinating because it is so deeply rooted in his naive, lingering hope that his birth mother can be redeemed. The way I see it, Finn looking at Sheila's quiet exit and calling it a good sign is the ultimate blind spot. I feel like this is the best they've written Finn's internal conflict because it puts him directly at odds with his wife's survival instincts. I genuinely believe that others might not be so sure, and Steffi certainly won't be, which perfectly sets up the marriage conflict over the Sheila situation. I feel like a potential marriage conflict between Steffi and Finn right now is the most organic and necessary progression of their story. I think the writers are brilliant for using Sheila's absence as a weapon to divide them, rather than her physical presence. In my opinion, Steffi looking at Finn and realizing he still doesn't fully grasp the danger of his own mother is a heartbreaking realization. I love the subtle tension in the spoiler suggesting that while Steffi is ordering security and banning Deacon, Finn is trying to de-escalate. I feel like this creates a suffocating atmosphere inside the Cliff House. I think the choice to have their conflict stem from differing interpretations of Sheila's silence makes me feel so much more invested in their marriage because it's a battle of psychological survival versus empathetic naivety. I want to dive deeper into my personal reading of Taylor's current state of mind. I feel so incredibly anxious for Taylor right now. When the spoilers say Taylor Hayes stalked, my heart breaks for her because she has finally found a genuine connection with Deacon, only to have it immediately poisoned by this looming threat. I think having Taylor be the central target, whether it's Sheila or a red herring, forces her to reckon with the consequences of her choices. I know a lot of people are criticizing Taylor for falling for Deacon in the first place, but I actually think this makes her the most compelling she has been in a decade. I feel like her willingness to risk everything for a love she believes in, despite the danger, is a beautiful, tragic flaw. The way I interpret it, Taylor is choosing to live in the light with Deacon, completely unaware of the dark eyes watching her from the shadows. I feel like the specific setting of Il Giardino plays such a crucial role in this emotional landscape. When Deacon shares the news about Sheila leaving the apartment, I think about that small space above the restaurant where so much of their twisted history unfolded. I think the writer's choice to have Sheila leave that specific location is symbolic. In my opinion, Il Giardino was Sheila's safe haven, her little slice of a normal life with Deacon. By walking out of those doors and leaving the apartment, I feel like she is shedding her domestic disguise. I love the contrast between Deacon trying to do damage control in the bustling public space of the restaurant, while Sheila disappears into the unknown. It makes me feel like the monster has left the cage and is now roaming free in Los Angeles. I genuinely think we are missing the point if we don't appreciate the absolute terror of the red herring possibility. What if all those cautions are for nothing? What if it turns out Sheila isn't going after Taylor, but someone else entirely? I feel a massive rush of adrenaline just thinking about this. I think the writers are dangling the stalker mystery in front of us to keep us focused on Taylor, while Sheila might actually be pivoting her revenge towards someone who isn't expecting it at all. The way I see it, if Steffy is fortifying the Cliff House and Forrester Creations, and Taylor is being watched by a random stalker, then who is left vulnerable? I feel like this opens up the canvas in such a brilliant way. I think it makes every single character a potential victim, and that level of unpredictable danger is exactly why I am so devoted to this show right now. I feel so strongly about the way Deacon is handling his heart in this storyline. I think for years, Deacon has been a character who hides his true feelings behind a smirk and a joke, but the way I interpret his current actions, he's finally standing in his own truth. When the spoilers say he couldn't hide his heart anymore, I felt a genuine swell of pride for him. I think the choice to have him openly admit his love for Taylor, knowing it will bring the wrath of the Forresters and the vengeance of Sheila down upon him, is incredibly brave. I feel like this is the redemption arc Deacon has always deserved. I love the idea of him facing Ridge and Steffy, taking their inevitable abuse, but refusing to back down because his love for Taylor is real. I know the fandom is deeply divided on whether Sheila can ever truly change, but I actually think her current actions prove that she cannot, and I love that. I feel like her promising Deacon that she accepted the decision is the ultimate lie, and it makes me respect her as a villain so much more. I think the writers are honoring her history by having her make a private vow that the marriage isn't over. In my opinion, Sheila doesn't view love as a partnership. She views it as ownership. The way I see it, Deacon belongs to her, and Taylor is simply a thief who needs to be punished. I feel a deep, thrilling dread knowing that Sheila is out there operating under this delusion. I think the choice to show us her private vow while she plays the compliant ex-wife in public is a masterful stroke of dramatic irony that keeps me glued to the screen. I feel like we also need to talk about the emotional toll this is taking on everyone's daily lives. When Steffi orders extra security, I think about what that actually looks like for her family. I feel so much empathy for her having to explain to her children why there are guards at the door. I think the writers are doing a fantastic job of showing the collateral damage of Deacon's affair. The way I interpret it, Steffi isn't just mad at Deacon for cheating on Sheila. She is furious at him for detonating a bomb in the middle of their lives. I genuinely believe that her banning him from the Cliff House isn't just about punishing him. It's about drawing a literal line in the sand to keep the chaos out. I feel like this makes Steffi an incredible protector, and I am completely on her side when she pushes back against Finn's naive optimism. I am so deeply invested in the mystery of who is watching Taylor. If it isn't Sheila, then who? I feel like the show is inviting us to become detectives alongside the characters. I think the choice to have Taylor and Deacon spend time together in the open, completely vulnerable, while the camera takes the perspective of the stalker, is a brilliant directorial choice. It makes me feel like a complicit voyeur. I love the tension this creates. Every time they smile at each other, every time they hold hands, I feel a spike of anxiety because I know someone is watching. In my opinion, this is soap opera storytelling at its absolute finest. It combines deep, character-driven romance with high-stakes thriller elements. I feel like the question, when will this woman finally get a break, perfectly encapsulates Steffi's entire existence right now. I think the writers are pushing Steffi to her absolute breaking point, and I am here for every second of it. The way I see it, Steffi has survived so much at the hands of Sheila Carter, and now, just when she thought she was safe, the nightmare starts all over again because of Taylor and Deacon. I feel a profound sense of injustice on Steffi's behalf, which makes me root for her even harder. I think her potential marriage conflict with Finn is the ultimate tragedy of this situation. I genuinely believe that Sheila's greatest weapon isn't a gun or a knife. It's her ability to infect the minds of the people she targets, causing them to turn on each other. I think the upcoming episodes on April 10 and April 13 are going to go down in history as some of the most pivotal moments for these characters. I feel so incredibly lucky to be watching this specific storyline unfold. The way I interpret the pacing, the emotional beats, and the psychological warfare is that the writers are firing on all cylinders. I love the way they transition Sheila from a screaming, knife-wielding maniac in Taylor's office to a cold, calculating, silent threat leaving the apartment. I feel like that evolution makes her infinitely more dangerous. I think having Deacon share the news of her departure, while Taylor is simultaneously being stalked, creates a perfect storm of false hope and hidden danger. In conclusion, I am absolutely in love with where The Bold and the Beautiful is heading right now. I feel a fierce loyalty to this specific narrative, because it honors the complex history of these characters while pushing them into terrifying new territory. I think the choice to focus heavily on the psychological fallout of Deacon and Taylor's love, rather than just the immediate physical danger, is a masterstroke. I feel so passionately about Steffy's justified panic, Finn's tragic denial, Deacon's brave heart, and Sheila's twisted private vows. The way I see it, this isn't just a story about an affair. It's a story about the inescapable gravity of a monster, and the desperate, beautiful lengths people will go to in order to find love and protect their families in the shadow of that monster. I cannot wait to see what happens next, and I genuinely believe that anyone who isn't seeing the genius in this plot is simply missing out on the best television on daytime right now.